Coach Stone Podcast.
I can't see where you coming from, but I know just what you running from. And what matters either, who's bad is broken. Won't you stop it falling from your level?
Coach Stone Podcast number 25. I want to thank everyone for listening. I want to thank JC Hawks Radio, JC Hawks Sports Network, and BJ for letting me do this. This is episode 25, and I have a really excellent guest for my quarter of a century guest. We'll talk about that in a second. Remember, if you ever want to listen to my old or new podcasts, they're on iTunes and Stitchers, and just look under JC Hawks Radio. Remember, you can go to my website for more information about podcasts, blogs, my books, football tips, and free PE games. Go to CoachStoneFootball.com. Without further ado, I want to introduce a current NFL football player, and I consider a good friend. Hopefully he does too. Shakir Soto, current Oakland Raider defensive lineman. Shakir, are you on?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Hey, it's long time no see, right?
Yep.
I think when we ever do something, we go out and do an event for somebody, we always somehow run into each other, right?
Yeah, a couple of times. Nice
a couple times,
too.
right?
Yeah.
Well, hey, I want to thank you for being my guest, for my 25th guest on my podcast. I totally appreciate this. Let's do this with the audience. We're going to go over a game plan, okay?
Yes, sir.
What's going to happen is the pregame, you're going to talk about yourself, and you can tell everybody what you want to know. If you have a website, Facebook, we won't do Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, things like that, right? And then after that, we'll have a kickoff question, first drive question. We'll go into halftime. We'll X and O, and then we come back. We'll do a kick return question, second drive, your words of wisdom, and then we'll call it the game. Does that sound planned?
Sounds perfect to me.
Perfect. Well, we'll do for the listening audience also, during each break, we won't have the whistle. We'll have commercial breaks. Remember, you can go to my website. On the bottom of my website for my sponsors, you'll see a lot of things. You'll hear a lot of commercials. They have some great coupons, great promo codes on the bottom of my website, CoachStoneFootball.com. Without further ado, Shakir, the pregame's all you, man. Tell us about yourself, where you're from, and everything about you.
All right, well, Coach Stone said, my name is Shakir Soto. I'm from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, a little small city in northeast Pennsylvania. I went to University of Pittsburgh, graduated with 2 degrees in business and communications within 3.5 years. I have 3 younger siblings. One's in the Marines, and the other 2 are still in school. And I signed with after college. I signed with the Denver Broncos. I was there, and then after later on in the year, I ended up with Oakland, and I've been since last year. I've been with Oakland ever since. So it's been a since being younger, it's been a journey, but it's been, hard work is always going to help you out in the end, and my work ethic definitely got me where I am today. So it's been a blessing, and the support I have coming back home.
And the thing that I just heard you say, and this is one thing I loved when you said it, and we talked about this before. You went to UPA, right? University of Pittsburgh.
Yep.
You got 2 degrees in there, correct?
2.
And you did it in 3.5 years.
Yep.
That's something I just want you to know. For anyone listening, and I'm not now. Shakir doesn't have to comment because I don't want him to comment. I don't want to get him beat up in the locker room. But as an NFL player, there are a lot of guys that leave for the draft early, and they never finish their degree, and then eventually they do. Like I know some guys recently. Do you see them in May? They were walking on stage getting their degree and finishing their degree. You did. Give me the 2 degrees again, really quick.
Business and communications.
Business and communications. So, when I was younger, right? And I'm a dinosaur, right? But I remember when I was in college and we were Division I schools were looking at us. They were like, "Oh, you can do basket weaving, right?" I know it's a joke, but 2 classes were that you actually did business and communications, and you did it in 3.5 years, and you played college football for how many years?
4.
You played 4 years. I'm going to tell you right now, if I could give you a round of applause, I would. I'm not lying to you. That's awesome.
I appreciate it.
Now, did you get drafted? I don't know if you said that. Did you get drafted or did you get picked up?
No,
How did that all work?
No, I signed with the Denver Broncos right like kind of like during the draft, like the 6th round, they called me and they said they wanted they had one more pick, but they're not now taking the D lineman. They wanted that's what they got a quarterback. So they said they want to sign me with free agents. So I mean, when the draft comes, you got to hurry up and make decisions quick because you just never know. And then when the draft officially ended, I signed up with them, and
awesome.
It's been going ever since from there.
Great. Okay, so let's do this. I don't know if you can do this, and tell me if this is okay. Do you have a Twitter or an Instagram fans can follow you on? Because I know it's different. Like, I'm not famous like you are, so I know you guys have rules and regulations. Do you have your own athlete thing that people can follow you on?
Yeah, my Twitter and Instagram are the same handle. It's Pitboy52, PITTBOY 52. And,
Got it.
Yeah, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter, same handle. So keep it simple.
Perfect. Okay, so let's do this, Shakir. We're going to go to commercial break. I can't wait to ask you all these questions that I had for you. And then, I got like 1,000 questions, but you made me only take 6, so I apologize. So, and now I'm going to tell you right now, we only had like 17 viewers. With you now, we're going to get 100 viewers. I'm just telling you that right now. Because at the end of the day, your pregame, I don't mean to do this to you. 3.5 years, 2 degrees at University of Pittsburgh. I think that's amazing. So I want to every kid that's listening to this podcast, that's pretty amazing. I mean, that doesn't mean he's like chillaxing on a semester. He did it faster than other people did it. And nowadays, college is like 5 years for a degree. I don't know what anybody says, but that's how I feel it is. I don't know if you agree with that, Shakir. But it takes forever to get a degree nowadays.
Yeah, it does. Depends on, you have to use your semesters wisely. I mean, some people do, some people don't.
Correct. We'll be right back. Coach Stone podcast number 25. Shakir Soto, Oakland Raiders, defensive lineman. We'll be right back.
Go Army Edge Football is a free game-changing app that allows coaches to draw their plays with X's and O's like on a whiteboard, and then get the mental reps from the first person's perspective of any position on the field with real-time 3D graphics or virtual reality. Go Army Edge Football comes preloaded with many example plays and drills for concepts such as formation recognition and RPO reads. Any coach in any system can benefit from demonstrating in Go Army Edge Football, and every player can become a better football player with extra reps in the app. Go visit them on their Twitter or Facebook, insert at Go Army Edge.
Back from commercial break, Coach Stone podcast number 25. We got Shakir Soto, Oakland Raiders, defensive lineman. Shakir, here's the quick kickoff question. And this is a question my son wanted me to ask you, okay?
All right.
When you were little, who was the pro athlete in any sport you looked up to and why? And then my son wanted to ask, if it's not an NFL player that you looked up to, the first question, give me an NFL player too. So the floor is yours. Go ahead.
I have actually 2 guys I looked up to, both NFL players. One was Troy Polamalu. I'm a big Steelers fan, so Troy Polamalu, and the other one was Ray Lewis. And I actually wore number 52 because of Ray Lewis, because I just loved the way his playing style was. Relentless, play fast, and he was a leader on and off the field. And man, he just led the way for his team. And he ended his career on the right note. And then Troy Polamalu was like the same way, just a fierce player, and just 100% every time he's on the field. And he was not a vocal leader, but he just led by example. And he was just always, they're both just always there when the team needed plays to be made. And that's something I always appreciated from them too, and just wanted to at least, just mirror what they did, and that'd be a true blessing. So I never met any of them, but one day that'll be pretty cool.
Well, let's do this right now. If Troy Polamalu is listening, or Ray Lewis, guys, please do me a favor. We're going to tag you on this podcast. Give them a shout-out. Follow them on Twitter. Send them a little message. For me, if you could do that, I would greatly appreciate it. That'd be awesome. And just so you know, I love both you guys, too, because you guys hit like a son of a gun.
Yeah. I love the way they played.
Yeah. And here's the other thing, too. You talked about earlier in your pregame about how your hard work, right? Hard work pays off. I think
Yeah.
that's one slogan I always heard when I was in high school and in college. And I don't think we say that enough to our young athletes, and we'll get on that later in the podcast. But, you know, what did you do to make yourself work so hard? Like, there had to be, like, what was your drive? What did you have, like, to tell, like, you know, I never wanted to give up? What was that thing in you?
I mean, for me, it started when I was younger. I'm about to get real, like, personal now, but when I was younger, man, it was a rough life growing up. Wilkes-Barre is a small city, but has a high crime rate, and I grew up in a project. And I mean, I was like, I'm a single family home, single parent home, and I was just had me and my mom. But then, like, I'm the oldest of four, so it was my mom and my brother came a few years later, and then my little sister came a few years after that. Then my youngest brother came a few years after that. But growing up was hard, man. It was a poor family, you know what I mean? Big poverty city, and I was a problem child up until I got to around the 5th grade. I was kicked out of school 3 times, and then I was put on probation at the age of 9 for a year and things like that. So I turned my life around a lot, and I mean, just one day I just had to realize, like, I mean, do I want to keep living this life, or do I want to make something of myself? And once I got to high school, my high school was 7th through 12th grade. So once I got to high school, in 7th grade, I mean, I just knew I wanted to always play college ball, and I knew I had to just make a change. So I changed the way I was acting, changed my attitude towards people, showed so much more respect. And I realized at that point, the way I changed my attitude and started showing respect to people, you don't understand, like, what a person would do for you if you just simply just respect the way you do, respect them. I had so many people just reach their neck out for me if I needed to, for them to, just because I was respectful. I mean, I helped anybody if they needed help and things like that, and it just helped, man. And then I surrounded myself. That was the most important thing to me, was I surrounded myself with good people. I surrounded myself with a little clique I had, and we all had the same goal. We all wanted to work hard and be football players. And I mean, it all didn't work out for everybody. Just that's the way life is. But I mean, without them, we were working out every single day, just doing something to get better. Because you don't know who you're competing against. Like, you're competing against kids, and I mean, like, it's less than 1% of kids, high school kids, go Division I, like, things like that. It's just, you don't know who you're competing against. So you gotta just maximize every single day every day as much as you can. You can't there's no time to be lazy, because you don't know what the other person's doing. You got to assume that person's working harder than you, and that's the way our attitude was. So I carried that on through once I got to college and the pros, and I mean, I'm still in the NFL for a reason. So I mean, that's
awesome.
It's been a blessing.
Well, here's what I'm going to tell you too, for everyone listening. If you ever met Shakir Soto, I don't mean that, I'm not trying to blow your head up now. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
When I met you the first time at SeaWorld, and I've never been to SeaWorld, everyone, and it was really nice meeting him. We shook hands, and we were just like, it was like small talk, right? We just started like small talking. And for some people that have never met pros, there are some pros that don't even want to talk to you. Where this guy, there was this like charity event we were at, and it was like he was in his realm. And I'm going to tell you this right now, and I hope the Raiders are listening to this. If I had a person right now to pick for the Walter Payton Award for your team, I would definitely nominate you. And we're going to go into that in the second half about your camps and stuff, okay? So I don't want to steal your thunder about that. But I think, I mean, personally, that's from the bottom of my heart, what I saw what you did with those kids, you know, and then you came to some Gridiron Girl camps. I thought that was amazing. You signed autographs. You didn't ask for anything. You know, seeing a kid smile after you talked to them, sat with them, took a picture, is to me like the MasterCard commercial is priceless. And from the bottom of my heart, when I do those camps with Jen and the other stuff we've done together, I want to thank you so much for that. I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. Oh,
yeah, for sure. I love Jen's camps. They were fun. And I always try to make as many as I can if I'm in the area. I know you guys were in California, but they were in South California, so I wish I was able to make
it's just amazing. You just call one of us up, and you, like, I remember one time we saw you at SeaWorld, right? You came to that. You know, you missed a thing for that. You came to this. And then all of a sudden, a couple weeks later, I see you at the other camp. I'm like, hey, what's up? You know, I thought it was awesome. And I'm just like, this guy's everywhere, you know. And I just can't wait to watch you on TV. I'm not lying to you. My son's ecstatic. He's waiting to meet you because I talk very highly of you. Whenever I meet the pros, I say, hey, this guy was great. This guy was great. I won't say any pros that have been rude to my son when we went up for an autograph sometimes, but it's just amazing how some of you guys are so down to earth. And I hate to say this, you're kind of like a Gilbert Brown, Shakir, because I don't know if you know this. Gilbert Brown would always say, he's the nicest guy in the world too. He's super nice. But when he put that helmet on, he was a whole different animal.
Yeah.
So and I'm going to say this right now. Seeing some highlights of you, when you put that helmet on, I want to stay away from you. I'd rather be in the stands than be next to you. I just want you to know that right now.
Appreciate it.
All right, so let's do this. Let's go to a commercial break. We'll come right back with the first drive question, and then I have it's a two-parter for you, but it's really easy and it's probably really short answers. But if that's okay with you, we'll come right back after commercial break.
Sounds good.
Perfect. Shakir Soto, Oakland Raider defensive lineman, Coach Stone podcast number 25. We'll be right back. Safe contact, sound fundamentals. Tackle bar football is a safer approach that preserves the tradition and fundamentals of the football game. What is tackle bar football? Tackle bar football is a safer approach to the game that preserves the tradition and spirit of the sport. Players wear traditional football equipment plus a tackle bar harness that holds two foam bars across the lower back. The defender must attract and engage with a proper form tackling technique while wrapping the ball carrier and ripping a bar from the harness. With this approach, players stay on their feet rather than taking the ball carrier to the ground. Tackle bar. Coach Stone podcast number 25. We're back from commercial break. Got Shakir Soto, current Oakland Raider defensive lineman, on the podcast. Okay, Shakir, here you go. Two-part question. I don't know. These two might be really quick. I see on your favorite number is 52. You're 64 on the Oakland Raiders. Tell us why that is. That's the first question. So go ahead. Tell me that one.
Yeah, I didn't get to pick the number, but the best DN in the NFL wears number 52 on our team, so it's kind of hard to get that one. So let it is what it is.
So I want to say this really quick to the listeners. So all you moms, dads, or players, or college players that are thinking to go to the pros, Shakir Soto, if you don't believe me, YouTube him, right? We'll try to find a highlight tape and we'll link it to this podcast if that's okay, Shakir.
Yep.
So he's very good at what he does. He's in the NFL, and he didn't get a choice to pick a number. And I know, Shakir, you know this. You probably remember players like this. I want number 1. I want number 2. I want number 3. You remember those guys, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do.
Yeah, you don't get that. Hey, when you went to the pros, they were like, Shakir, you're this number. You don't get it. Yep. You don't get a choice. And it fits, right? It's not like a 5X, right? you know what I mean?
It fit nice.
It fits nice, right? So they're like, hey, this shirt fits you, and it goes with you, and you make the number where everyone wants to buy it, right? Because at the end of the day, that's the jersey number you are now. So that's all. Hey, I just wanted to tell everyone that's like that, because I hate it when kids always say, hey, I want to be number 5. I want to be number 8. I got to be number 12, right? But here in the NFL, sometimes you don't get that choice. So the kids need to understand that. That's awesome.
At the end of the day, you have to play. The number's not going to play for you.
Say that one more time.
I said at the end of the day, you have to still play football. The number's not going to play for you. So whatever number you wear, you just got to deal with.
That is a great quote. Okay, So the first drive question, part 2. What's it like? Because the furthest I went was indoor football. That's like nothing, right? I mean, it's nothing like the NFL. What's the transition from playing college football to the pros? How did it feel towards you, like, or what advice would you give somebody that's doing it right now?
I just realized it's 100% business. I mean, it's obviously cool to meet people and make friends, but at the end of the day, you're fighting for a job. You have right now, like, for example, we have 90-man roster, so you have 8, but outside of me, you have 8, 9 other people fighting for a job, and you gotta just treat it as this. I mean, you just take advantage of everything just because it's the perfect job. Like, think about so many young people coming out of college. No one's gonna make this much money coming just starting a different job. Like, it's a blessing, and you just gotta make sure you just taking advantage of it. And it's just there's no school. There's no like, oh, I have to carry classes on top of carrying football and then focus on football. Now it's just a complete job. You don't have to worry about any classes. You gotta just make sure you know what you're supposed to do, because that's the thing is, since it's such a job, I mean, you gotta just take advantage, because you don't know what could happen. They could cut you just because if you don't know your plays. You just gotta take the thing. You just take it seriously, and you just gotta watch out, because people, like I said, people are just fighting for the job. So people get desperate, and then anything can happen. Someone could get you in trouble, or tell you the wrong thing so you can mess up, and things like that. So it's different for every team. But with the Raiders, it's not like that. So I love being on the Raiders. There's older guys. Everyone wants to be better. Everyone wants to help everyone else be better.
And you got a great head coach right now. I mean, he's
great head coach. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So really quick, and this is something that Willie Pyle, a past guest we had, he played for the Chiefs and the Cowboys, and I know this from working with the Bears. Like Tuesdays are like your off day, right? Because Tuesday is where they bring the players in. They'll bring players in from anywhere, and that's the one thing people have to understand. In the NFL, it's not just the National Football League. It's not for long, because just like you said, anybody could come up. Like in high school, anyone that's in high school or overseas, you might be the best right there or in that area. You might be all area, all state. But then you got to remember, there's a whole globe of people playing football.
And they're always looking for the next thing, too.
Yeah.
They're always looking to replace you. If you slack up a little bit, like you said, on them Tuesdays, someone's going to be in there working out to replace you. So you just always got to take advantage.
So hard work does pay off. And I'm going to tell you right now, when I remember, I think the first time I met you, Shakir, you were leaving Seaward to go lift weights. And I was like, What are you doing? It's like Saturday or Sunday. He's like, no, I got this regiment. You are like a fine oil machine, no offense. You were like, I'm like myself, dude, I got 5 kids. Working out is like getting out of bed. You know what I mean? It's like, and you're like hitting the gym all the time. I remember sometimes I call you, you're working out, or you're doing stance, or you're doing drills, or you're like talking about, hey, I'm concentrating on my plays or things like that. So, it's awesome. Okay, perfect. Let's do this, Shakir. Let's go to halftime, get some water in us. We'll come back, and we'll talk about something you do for the community and everything like that. That's okay.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
Perfect. Coach Stone podcast number 25. Shakir Soto, current Oakland Raiders defensive lineman. We'll be right back. Huddle is a leading software company revolutionizing the way coaches and athletes prepare and stay ahead of the competition. Go to @HuddleFootball on Twitter, or go to www.huddle.com/football for more information on Huddle.
The Big Four, a physical education book written by Coach Anthony Stone, can be purchased through the following locations: Amazon, iTunes, BarnesandNoble.com, and Kobo.
Brunch, $30.
Hey, that's okay, Wendy. That was a good carry. You're still the man. You're the man.
Latte, $4.
Shake it off, Johnny. Rub some dirt on it.
New piano, $3,000.
All right, guys. They're not saying boo. They're saying movers.
Supporting your team. Priceless.
It's all right, Bobby. You still got the best arm in the neighborhood.
There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
This is decaf, right?
Back from commercial break, Shakir Soto, current Oakland Raider defensive lineman, on podcast, Coach Stone podcast number 25. Shakir, we had a lot of water, man. You were doing push-ups and sit-ups while I was drinking water. I just want everybody to know that. You were literally doing push-ups and sit-ups. And I'm just like, hey, just keep going. You're doing great. Keep going. I don't know what Coach Gruden would say to you, but just keep going. You're good. Just keep going. All right, so here we go. The kick return question. You were talking about your community earlier, your town in Pennsylvania. I believe the area code's 570. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, so for the audience that needs to know this, the reason why I know this is because Shakir Soto just started camps called 570 on the go, and he had a free one just recently on June 30th in his hometown. Shakir, explain us about the camps. What do you think about doing them, and how is it going to go from there on out with the future? Go ahead.
Yeah, it was something I just came up with. I think it was like January, February. I just had an idea, like, man, maybe I'll just have a football camp. Growing up, when I was, like, in Wilkes-Barre, we didn't really have any guys that made it to the NFL come back and have camps and actually be able to be face to face with the kids and stuff like that. So I actually never went to any camps besides I went to like a couple college camps. Other than that, like, I was always had to travel, and it wasn't like right here in my hometown. So it was something I just felt like I should give back to the kids, and just it could help change a lot of lives, just being there in front of them and pushing them and things like that. So at first it was supposed to be a football camp, then I'll change it into a sports clinic type thing. So like if you want to, it's pretty much a fitness thing. Just teach kids how to work out, show them a whole bunch of different drills and things like that. And it was a nice day too. It was like 95 degrees, so it was a hot day. We made sure that everyone was cool. Everyone stayed hydrated. We had no problems, and it was a great turnout for how hot it was. So I was definitely excited. Next year, probably I'm trying to have like a couple of them next year, probably like 2 or 3, and then eventually I want to make it into like a flag football league and things like that. So just keep growing off of it. Just help being more involved in the community, and I mean I feel like it's gonna help change some kids' lives, and as long as I've been able to change one, I mean it's better than 0.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So, and in this camp, like he was talking, so everyone here, there was a free camp you just recently did, and you said it was on a plethora of sports, not just football, correct?
Yeah, it was just a fitness thing. So we had a whole bunch of different stations, and then just like cutting drills and things like that, teaching the kids how to form run, and then we did some relay races, just competition things, because that was the main thing too. Is like, no matter what job field you get into or career, it's always gonna be competition. So, and then it's just you always looking to be. Just no matter what job you do, if someone does the job better, you're gonna get the job over you. So
that's very true.
Work very hard. Just keep working harder and harder, and then that was the main objective. We're trying to let them know, just inform them about that.
Awesome. Let's do this. I think that's phenomenal, and I tell you once again, not many NFL players go back to their hometown and do a free camp. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I from the bottom of my heart, totally appreciate it. I know we talked about this all the time, and I know about some of the stuff we talked about tonight, because I know you did. It's great talking to you, because you're like, hey, you want to do this? Yeah. Do you want the questions? No, I'm good. I don't need the questions. So I think that's phenomenal. That's awesome. Let's do this, Shakir. We're going to go to a commercial break. We're going to have 2 commercial breaks. We'll come back, and then we'll have the second drive question. Does that sound good?
Sounds great.
Perfect. Coach Stone podcast, number 25, Shakir Soto, current Oakland Raider defensive line. We'll be right back. Do you preach about ball security? Is getting better each day something you strive to do? Do you want to work to eliminate fumbles? The High and Tight Teaching Football is a revolutionary design football that encompasses virtually every method known to eliminate fumbling, thus maximizing your opportunity to be victorious. The High and Tight Teaching and Training Football is state-of-the-art patented football that gives athletes and those around instant, audible feedback when you are holding the football correctly, high and tight, thus closing the gap between the wrist and the body and the elbow and the body. Whether you're a player, utilize the wing tee carrying with 2 hands over the ball, or a pro style against their body, High and Tight provides an audible alert when proper hold is executed correctly. Start to create habits that win games with teaching your players how to carry the ball high and tight. Order yours today at highandtight.com. Use promo code CoachStone to save. What legacy will you leave as a coach? The 3-dimensional coaching framework empowers coaches at every level to fulfill their transformational purpose by helping them become fundamentally sound, skilled at coaching the mind, and focus on developing the heart. Are you needing to take courses to meet professional development or recertification requirements? If so, check out the different online 3D coaching course offerings at 3dinstitute.com. You can even take the 3D coaching course
for 3 graduate credits. Make sure you use the coupon UNITEALL to save 10% on your entire cart. That's UNITEALL, no spaces, all one word, at 3dinstitute.com.
Coach Stone podcast number 25. We're back from commercial breaks. We had a plural commercial breaks. I'm just kidding. We really did. Second drive question, Shakir. Today's athlete is totally different. What do you feel the difference between the old school athlete and the new school athlete in today's society for sports? The floor is yours.
I feel like the size and speed were probably the biggest difference. Back in the day, I mean, you got a lot of bigger guys, but they weren't as fast as, like, I mean, not everyone was as fast as now, but now it's like they're not as big, but you have at every position is speed, and I feel like over the years, especially growing up for me, was a lot of coaches I've been around preach like how they want their guys faster. I mean, just because everyone's fast, and you're gonna need guys to catch running backs or catch receivers on screens and things like that. So I feel like that was a big difference in between today's athletes and the old.
Awesome. And then how about attitude-wise? Do you see anything different with their attitudes with the old school and new school athletes?
I don't think as much has changed in that aspect. I mean, everyone has different personalities. At the end of the day, it just depends on the person and how they act and stuff like that. But in that aspect, I don't think anything pretty much has changed that much.
Awesome. Perfect. All right, so let's do this now. We're going to go to last commercial breaks. We're going to come back, do 2-minute warning, and then we're going to call it the game. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Perfect. Coach Stone podcast number 25, Shakir Soto, current Oakland Raider defensive lineman. We'll be right back. The safety of your players is more important than ever. As the game changes to protect the players, Tackle Tube USA is a leading way with the original innovative product design, not only to practice safer, but promote and teach the best tackling technique. Invented in 2009 by professional rugby player and coach Glenn Remnant, Tackle Tube allows the players to simulate real game situations, track and tackle a moving target, promote great body position, and improve technique and timing. Coaches in the U.S. and all over the globe are using Tackle Tube to promote a safer and more effective way to tackle. Unlike other bags that have a limited use, there are many ways to use a Tackle Tube in your practice, both in season and out of the season. Drills for every position, Tackle Tube never needs to leave the practice field. Check us out at TackleTubeUSA.com or on our YouTube channel and all social media. Look for Tackle Tube USA. Back from commercial break, Coach Stone podcast. We have as our guest tonight, Shakir Soto, Oakland Raider defensive lineman. Shakir, here we go. 2-minute warning. Your words of wisdom. What do you want to tell the audience before we wrap this thing up? The floor is yours.
I just want to tell them pretty much the same thing things I've been talking about throughout the whole podcast. Just saying, like, no matter what you want to do in your life, you can't just wait around because other people are doing. They're gonna be working harder than you. You just gotta assume they're working harder than you, and just go at it every single day. Just do something to get better. It doesn't matter. You gotta make most of every day, just because you don't want to live in a life of regret. And I know plenty of people that have been living in that life of regret. Oh, what if I did this better? Or what if I did this that day? And things like that. Just know every day is gonna make a difference for you as long as you do something towards your goal. And it's not just in sports; it's just in life in general. Just no one's gonna wait for you, and they're gonna just whoever's gonna do the job is gonna do it, and that's who's gonna get the job with the best person for person for the job. So you gotta just live a life like there's no tomorrow, pretty much.
That's awesome. I mean, like, literally, that's great. And I'm gonna tell anybody that's do me a favor, Shakir. What's your Twitter and Instagram they can follow you on? Your athlete one.
Oh, no, it's the same thing as earlier. So it's just Pitboy52. I only have one Twitter and Instagram. So it's PITTBOY52. Pitboy52. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram through that handle.
Awesome. And then when you post on that, do you do anything like when you do the posting? Do Like, did you have pictures of your camps and things like that so they can see you?
Yeah, on my Instagram, yes, I have a few pictures of my camp on there.
Awesome.
It was a fun day. And like I said, I have a whole bunch of pictures. I give back a lot. I go to schools and talk to the kids. So you scroll through my Instagram, you're always going to see kids and just me giving back some way or things like that.
Well, I greatly appreciate it. I want to thank you so much. I'm not lying to you. And if anyone from the organization of the Raiders are listening, this is not Shakir telling me to say this. Please put him up for the Walter Payton Award. I really mean this. I think he'd be great. Honestly, you know what? If you'll have to play 62, I do that with my school. You'd be phenomenal in that because just seeing you do the camps, seeing you do the SeaWorld thing, I thought you were amazing. I just want you to know that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So with that being said, that's the end of the game. I want to thank everybody for listening to Coach Stone Podcast number 25. I want to thank Shakir Soto for his busy schedule he has with the NFL. I want to thank you so much. I want to good luck to you and the Raiders this season. But, Shakir, thank you again.
No problem. Anytime.
I want to thank JC Hawks Radio, JC Hawks Sports Network. I want to thank BJ for letting me do this. We're on episode 25. I can't wait for the next 25 to happen. Remember, if you ever miss an episode, old or new, you can go on iTunes and Stitcher and look under JC Hawks Radio. And I'll leave my audience with this. Always remember instilling confidence by laying a foundation. Thank you, and have a great day. Coach Stone Podcast number 25.
Coach Stone Podcast.